Hello everyone. Good morning to each and all present here. This is Tanisha from Incubate In. I welcome you all to this hands-on training session on Facebook Spark AR Labs powered by Incubate In. What this initiative is about, I'll just tell you in a minute. Facebook Spark AR Labs is an initiative by Facebook in India which is in collaboration with Incubate In to upskill students to use the augmented reality technology that is a blooming career options for many developers. We have Professor just a minute. Okay. We have Professor Dhaval with us from RK University. He's MTech in CSE and he's currently pursuing his PhD. He also has an experience of 13.5 years in teaching. So, could you please just say a few words to the students and motivate them to participate in this challenge?
Okay, sure, man, I will. First of all, I would like to welcome you all from the behalf of RK University. Thank you for organizing such kind of event for the students. And now let me introduce what is this event is about. This event, as ma'am told already, it is Facebook Spark AR. Those students who want to learn augmented reality, those students are really interested about augmented reality. This workshop will be very much helpful from that. Okay, so please make sure that you do a participant in this workshop, you submit your effect that ma'am will tell us, and at the end of a particular workshop, you will get a certificate as well, you will get a t-shirt as well. So this is a wonderful opportunity to learn augmented reality. And I really like to thank Punit sir and Tanisha ma'am both for organizing such kind of a workshop for our students. Thank you so much, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, sir, for motivating the students. I hope we'll see a lot of amazing effects from the students of your college. So, the
Yes,
flow of
ma'am.
today's workshop will be, first of all, my colleague Anuj will join and he will tell us how the registration process for the challenge works. We'll walk you through the registration process. I request you guys to simultaneously continue the process so that at the end of the session, if you have any doubts, we can clear it then and there. After that, I'll be taking on the hands-on session and I'll teach you how to use the Spark AR Studio and how to make your own 2D and 3D effect and use it on social media. Anuj, over to you now. Anuj, I think your mic is not on.
Yeah, that's the common mistake which we make every day this time. So yes, thanks everyone. Thanks for the introduction. I'll just start by sharing my screen, and then we are good to go. Just give me a moment. Yes. Before starting the presentation, I'll just drop in the website where if you haven't registered, you can go and register right now. So you can check the comment section. I have dropped in the website. So let's start with the presentation. Yes. So, Facebook Spark AI Labs powered by Incubate IND hands-on session. As we all know why we are here. Before starting, I would like to wish everyone all the best and have fun while creating your first augmented reality effect, AR effect, and your experience with Facebook Spark AI Labs would be really fun because I have made many filters, so I know it's really fun. The agenda for today's session would be introduction, which is going on right now. Why Spark Air? What is Spark Air? Opportunities and scope, process of participation in the contest, your hands-on session, and making your first air effect. So at the end of the session, you will be able to make your first 2D or 3D effect. So let's start with basic question. What is this initiative about? So basically, Spark Air Labs is an initiative by Facebook to enhance the skills of Spark Air creators and the people who are interested in augmented reality and give them a platform to create AR effects and evangelize AR alongside developing it. And this is the first collaboration with Incubate IND in India of Spark Air Labs on such a big level where we have thousands of registrations and thousands of submissions going on. So The collaboration has happened because of evangelizing augmented reality in India. If you check out in the world has already accepted AR and they are diving deep into it. But right now in India, we are still at the stage where AR is considered as a new technology, and the students and the professionals are still trying to get a hang of it. And through this collaboration, we have also taken the initiative, and for that initiative, we have selected the two topics or the two problems which we will be working on. One, appreciating the frontline workers and celebrating them, and second is celebrating getting vaccinated. As we all know, we are in this pandemic, and we need to understand this thing that getting vaccination and appreciating the frontline workers are really important. In the current mindset of people, some people think that vaccines are not safe and getting vaccinated would cause no harm, and getting them late when everything is safe would be easy, or would be safe. But our aim is to digitally promote it and create filters which will spread awareness. But if you make a filter sitting in front of a laptop, you will share that filter with your friend. The filters will be tried on by different people, and that's how the cycle of evangelizing AR as well as promoting the frontline workers and celebrating vaccination will start. Now the question comes, what is Spark here? Okay, so I'll just give an example and you'll clearly understand. If you are a graphic designer, you use Photoshop or Sketch, Lighthouse. If you are a coder, you use PyCharm or Visual Studio or Atom. So similar to that, for augmented reality, it's a studio. Spark here is just a simple studio for augmented reality people who want to make AR effects. And as for the opportunities, you can see the graph how it was in 2016 and how it is growing since 2021 and will continue to grow till 2028. There are many job opportunities which you can take while you are pursuing augmented reality as a career, but the top 5 jobs are 3D artist, software designer, system validation engineer, software developer, design architect. These are the top 5 jobs which you can pursue if you are into augmented reality. And there are many more other than that. Let's get started with the end-to-end process of registering with Facebook Spark Air Labs. So basically, this is the website. Okay, before starting the process, why am I showing you through the slides, not through the actual website? It is because I have already registered using both of my Facebook accounts. So that's why I'm using the slides. You would need a Facebook account to complete the registration. You will see in the process ahead that you would need that. So when you come to this website, you just need to click on register now. You'll be redirected to a page where you see a simple registration form. Just fill it out your details and which are asked here and click on submit. Then you'll see a dashboard. Now this dashboard is a very important part for you. The registration process will continue from here if you follow my arrow Spark Air Labs button. The steps are mentioned here. You need to follow this, and before this there would be a presentation also. I'll show you that after the whole process. When you click on home, you will go back to this website. When you click on submit idea, your submission of your augmented reality filter part 2 will be done here. When you click on communication channel, your communication channel will this button will take you to our Slack channel where we will be there to help you guys making your first year effect and helping out through other queries. And when you click on webinar, you will be redirected to the webinar which we are going to organize. We are going to have one more webinar on 20th. If you want to understand more and deep dive, make sure to join that. After clicking on this button, Sparkia Labs, you will come to this page of Facebook Blueprint. Before coming to this page, make sure that you have your Facebook account logged in, because you would need a Facebook account to log in and you don't have to manually enter anything. When you click on sign in, you reach to this page and you just need to click on continue as Anuj or continue as XYZ, whatever your name or your Facebook account username is. You just need to click you just need to select the time zone. New Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata. It will be really hard to find in the list of time zones, so just follow GMT plus 5:30. You will find these three. You can select any one of them and select next. You will be redirected to this page, and here you need to click on accepting both the terms, getting your mail ID verified, and submit. Your registration process has been successfully completed. Now it's time to get started with the Facebook Spark Air Labs. When you click here on submit, you will be redirected to this page of Facebook Blueprint. You just need to scroll down a bit and you will see this link here, download Spark Studio. You need to download Spark your Studio before proceeding. Now I'll just take you through the specifications. You would need at least a 4 GB RAM, a graphic card to have this, and it is available on Windows and on Mac. It's not available on Linux. It's not available on phone or tablet. In tablet and phone, you can download the Spark Air player, which will help you guys use or test the filters which you have created, the effects which you have created, but not to build one. After clicking here on Download Studio, you will be redirected to this page and you just need to click on download and the download will start. The download is somewhat of only 400 MB, and after completing the download, it's just like a simple game or any software. Just click on install, next, install, verify, next, install, and yes, your download has been completed. After downloading, cross icon similar to this will be visible. You can just double click and start with the AR effect. Now I guess the basics has been done. Now I would like to give the stage to Tanisha to take it on for the hands-on session.
Thank you, Anuj, for walking us through the registration process. I'm sure
Yes,
everything is clear to everyone.
we have a question here. Every asset are free or do we have to pay for some? I guess Tanisha, you can answer this better.
Yes, so every asset that is available in the Spark AR Studio is for free. You don't have to make any in-app purchases to participate in this challenge. You can create amazing effects free of cost. There's no charge to anything.
And yes, there is also one general question: is the software virus free? Yes, it is safe and it is virus free. Don't need to worry about turning off your antivirus and then installing. You can completely install while your antivirus is on. And we will
Yes,
be taking
absolutely.
the other questions after the hands-on session. Let's get started. We'll take all the questions all together. So I'll just hand over the virtual mic to Tanisha and we'll be taking my lead. Over to you.
Thank you, Anuj. So, as Anuj told you, the registration process is, I hope, clear to everyone. If you have any doubts, you can definitely put it in the comment section. And after the session, when I have completed teaching you how to make the effects, we'll be having a Q&A session. So you guys can put whatever doubts you have or queries. We'll address it and we'll walk you through the process now. So Anuj already told you that you have to download the software to make your effects, but how we're going to use it, how we're going to put our effects on social media, how we're going to share it with our friends and family, this is what I'll be teaching you. So for the next 1 hour or so, just pay attention here and bear with me. And if any one of you has downloaded the Spark AR Studio, I would like you to make the effects simultaneously with me so that you face any issues. I'll be right here to clear your doubts, and by the end of the session you guys can submit your effect and earn your reward, that's a certificate and a t-shirt. So we have a question: how many effects one person? So for participating in this challenge, it's compulsory to submit one effect, but after submitting one effect you are free to submit how many effects you want. So let's just get started. We'll be taking all the questions after the session. So I'm sharing my screen with you all and we'll just begin the workshop. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. I'll just open the Spark AR Studio now. So after you have downloaded the Spark AR Studio and you open it, a studio like this will open. It's a really user-friendly studio, and once you get the hang of it, you will be able to make amazing 3D and 2D effects. So this is the version that I'm using. The Spark AR Studio gets updated very frequently. Sometimes there are updates even 2 times a day. But these updates are just to make the studio even more user-friendly. So depending upon the laptop or the configuration of your laptop that you are using, there might be certain differences in the version that has been downloaded, but you don't have to worry about it. Everything will be just same. There will be just one or two tiny changes here and there. So we have many templates that we can use to make our effects. You can see we have wings, we have 3D objects and everything like that available here. But I suggest you, whenever you start using the Spark AR Studio, start with a blank project or a new project. And why is it so? Because in the blank project, you can add all these elements that are mentioned here one by one according to your preference. For example, if you just start with this template, you might face a difficulty in adding certain other object that you're feeling to add. So since you guys are using this Spark AR Studio for the first time, that's what I'm assuming. We'll start with a new project, and after you have made your 3D effects, after you've got the hang of how to use the studio, absolutely you guys are free to explore the studio. It's a very user friendly studio, as I already mentioned. You will be really enjoying yourselves while using it. So I'll just click on new project and let's see where it takes us. So this is the main studio, and this is how it looks throughout the process while we'll be making the 3D or 2D effect. So you might be overwhelmed at first. It's looking like a really complex studio, but it's actually not. It's a very easy studio to use. And if you just get a hang of it, you'll be able to make effects in 10 to 15 minutes. So first of all, before jumping into the process of making the effects, I would like to give you an introduction of the studio. What the studio is, what are the panels that we have here, what are the options that we can use, what is the use of each option. So we have three main panels for the Spark AR Studio. The main panel is right here in the right hand side. It's called the inspector panel. The inspector panel is basically the master panel through which we have control over everything that we add to our effect. For example, if I've added a text and I want to change the size of the text or the color of the text, all that will be done through this panel on the right hand side, which is the inspector panel. Other than the inspector panel, we have two other panels here. One is the scene panel, and just below it is the assets panel. So the scene panel, it's like an index. Whatever we add in our effect, it can be a text or it can be a rectangle, it can be a 2D object. Each and everything will appear in the scene panel in a very well-defined manner. And when I say well-defined manner, you'll get to know what I'm saying when we start making the process, when we start making the effects. So it's not like things are randomly added and you have to arrange it. The studio itself arranges each and every object that you add into it in a very aligned manner. So how it does that, we'll see in like 10-15 minutes. You'll get to know about this panel better. And just below the scene panel, we have the assets panel. Now you can see in the assets panel, we have two options. One to import from computer and other from AR library. So it's pretty clear from this option that if we want to add any file from our computer, we can use this panel, access this option here, and the file will be added. But what is the AR library? So this option here will take you to an inbuilt library in the studio, just like this. Just click on this button and you will come here. This is the AR library and it's inbuilt in the Spark AR Studio. It's a collection of 3D, 2D objects. As you can see here, we have music and sound option here. We have textures, blocks, script packages. Everything is available here to use for free. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to make any in-app purchases. So, for example, if I want to add like a hat to my 3D effect, I'll just type hat here. I'll search, and whatever options are available for hat will be reviewed here. I'll just click here and I can select any hat that I want. So as I told you, all these objects available here are for free. You guys can access it, and we'll be using one or two objects from the AR library when we make our effects. So this is what the AR library does. We don't usually go out of the AR library because each and every object that we need to add to make our effect look attractive is usually available here. But of course, if you feel like making an addition to your effect, you can definitely download something from the browser and put it here with this option. We are going to use all these options after a few minutes. So here, this side panel right here has basic information about the studio. For example, this face stimulation that you're seeing here is actually a preview of how your effect will look when you use it on your phones. So you can see it's mentioned iPhone here. If you want to change the device, you can change it, but that hardly makes any difference. For example, if I change it from iPhone to an Android device, it won't make much of a difference. It will just change the size of the preview window. So in case you don't like the face stimulation that is being presented here, you can just go to this panel here, click on video, and select from the real-time face stimulation that you want to add. You can select from these options available here, Or what you can do is you can use your webcam to open the webcam of your laptop and use your face to see how the effects that you are making are looking on your face. So that way you have a better control over what you are making, and you can simultaneously see how it will look when you post it on social media. So according to that, if you want to make any additions or if you want to delete something, you can do that. But for now, I'll just stick to this one because it will be easier for me to explain you while taking this FaceTime simulation. So as you can see, the face is moving right now, and if we want to pause it, we can just pause it from here. So you can see the movement has paused, and this option is available because when we try to align 3D objects into our scene, there are times when we get confused while this head is constantly moving. So for a better control over the panel, we usually pause the real-time face simulation and add 3D and 2D objects. And after we have completed, we can definitely have a look at how it is looking, and we can make changes according to ourselves. So I told you this is the preview window in which all the things will be added, but we can't make changes in this window. Like if we have added something here in the top right corner, and if I want to change the position of it, I can't just simply drag it from here and place it anywhere in the scene that I want. All that will be done by this panel. This is the main working panel in which we'll be working. So you can see a screen like this has appeared here, and we can see it's looking something that we might have never used. So I'll tell you certain set of rules that we use while using the Spark AR Studio. We can't just simply zoom in and out with the help of our cursor in the Spark AR Studio. We have certain rules for it. For example, this screen right now is really small, and I want you guys to have a better view of it. So for that, for zooming in the screen, we use Control and Alt and then just zoom into the screen, and you can see the screen will be zoomed in. So for zooming in and out, it's Control plus Alt. And now I want to rotate it and align it with our scene. So for that, I'll just press Control and set the alignment according to myself. So for zooming in and out, I used Control plus Alt. For rotating, I used Control only, and if I want to shift it a little to the left, I'll use Alt. So this is how the studio works, nothing very complex. Control and Alt for zooming in and out, Control for rotating, and Alt for moving it side, like this. Now here's blue button that when we place our cursor on it, it says adjust the position of the selected object or objects. So basically when we add objects to our effect, we have to change its alignment and set it according to ourselves. How that will be done? With the help of this button. If we want to change the alignment, we click here and then start rotating it here. If we want to change the rotation of it, we have to select this object. And if we want to edit the scale or size of the object, that all will be done from here. But we have one more option of controlling all these things. What this option is, we'll learn now, because now we're starting to make the 2D effect. So first of all, I will make a very basic effect, and then we'll move on to a little complex level. So why I'm starting with a very basic is because you guys must be using the studio for the first time, or if someone is from you have used it, I just want to give you a beginner session, because I want by the end of the session most of you will be able to make an effect and submit it on your social media accounts. So this is the main agenda of today's workshop. It's not to teach you something very complex that you guys get confused in and overwhelmed in and you leave making it. The agenda is to introduce you to the studio that I've done and to make you able to make one effect that is anyone can make it. I mean, if you start making the effect right now with me, I'm sure by the end of the session, you guys would have definitely submitted your effect. So let's get started. So what I plan to make is, since Anuj already mentioned that the theme of our initiative is to celebrate getting vaccinated and to laud the efforts of the frontline workers that they have put in the fight against the pandemic. So, of course, for your personal use, you can make effects on any topic. But when you have registered for this challenge and to complete the process for this challenge, you have to align the effect that you are making with this theme. Why is this so? Because Anuj already told you that it's an initiative by Facebook to celebrate getting vaccinated and to motivate people on social media to take the vaccine. So we don't want to lose the essence of the initiative by adding certain elements that are totally out of the line. We'll keep it strictly to our theme. And of course, we can beautify it by adding anything that we want. But first, let's see how a basic 2D object that we have imported from our computer can be added to it. So what I plan to do is I plan to make a 2D effect, and I'll add an image that I've downloaded here at the bottom of our face stimulation, and I'll put some text here. An animated text, it can be a simple text. We'll try to add certain things from the AR library to it, and at the end I'll show you how to publish it. If you guys are comfortable with the 2D effect, we'll move to the 3D effect. I'll teach you how you can add 3D object and how you can mask it with your face time stimulation. Or if you guys want me to teach you something else, you can put it in the comments after the session. We'll begin with that. Let's get started. So I've paused the real-time face stimulation. You can unpause it and make it according to yourself. First, let's add the image that we want to include in our effect. So for that, I'll just click on Add Object at the bottom of the scene panel here. And we'll add a face tracker. So a face tracker is the most common and the most important thing that we add whenever we start making any effect. So it's not that if I'm making a 2D effect, then only I have to add a face tracker, or if I'm making a very simple effect, then I'll add a face tracker. A face tracker is common to every effect that we make. It can be simple or it can be very complex, but certain things are always present in an effect, and a face tracker is one of those. So I'll just unpause the video and show you what the face tracker has done. So there's no difference here in our preview panel, but in this panel we can see a face tracker has been added, which has three axes: the x-axis, y-axis and the z-axis. And it is actually moving as our face stimulation is moving. So as the name suggests, the face tracker, it actually tracks the activity and the movement of our face. So if our face is moving left, it's moving left. If it's rotating, it will rotate. So this is what the face tracker does. And it's very important to add a face tracker in your effect, because if I simply try to import something from my computer and click here, it will be added in the scene, but you won't be able to see it. And its alignment will be very tough for us to handle at the end. So I request you guys to follow the steps that I am telling you. You can note down the steps, or you can just follow the instructions as I'm telling you and simultaneously make one effect. And of course, this workshop is recorded. You can have a look at it. The last date is 20th. Make sure that you submit your effect before 20th. You guys have like 1 day now, so you have to buckle up a little bit. And we've added a face tracker. Now we will add another object to it. So I'll just click, we can either click on add object for adding the object that I'll be adding now, or just click on face tracker, right click, add, and you can see we have many options to add certain objects here. We have plane tracker, 3D text, all that we'll be seeing one by one. For now, we'll add a plane. Keep in mind that I'm adding a plane and not a plane tracker. So you can see a plane has been added and it's also moving with our face stimulation. So when I introduced the scene panel to you guys, I told you that in the Spark AR Studio, each and everything that we add is added in a very well-defined fashion. So this was what I was talking. The plane has come under the face tracker. Sometimes it might happen that the plane is added separately and not under the face tracker. So that might create a little issue in alignment. So for that, what you can do is you can simply drag this plane and place it over the face tracker. Then it will appear in this manner. So this is the alignment that I was telling you. As we add more objects to it, more colors, more fonts, you will see everything is added in a very well-defined manner, and it creates a chain of objects. We don't have to randomly add objects and then align it ourselves. The studio does everything itself for us. So you can see a plane has been added and it's moving with our scene. So I'll just pause it. Let it come to a bit. Yeah. So I'll just pause it here and then we'll start working. So you guys might be wondering what is this chessboard type thing that has appeared in our effect and it's not giving a good look. Of course, we'll be changing it. It is a basic plan how we work here. So the plane, as the plane suggests, it gives a base for the image that we are adding to come on. So this in this plane we'll be adding an image and this check effect will be gone and the image that we are adding will align with our face stimulation. So I'll just click on plane and let's see how we can set the alignment of this plane. So you can see three axes have appeared for this plane as well. So why these three axes have come is because the plane is a 3D object, it's not a 2D object. When we add a 2D object later on in the session, you'll see that we don't have these three axes for 2D object. These appear only when we work with 3D objects. So we can definitely change the alignment of this plane here and place it wherever we want in the scene panel through these axes. So this is the x-axis, common use of the axis I'm sure we all know. We can use it to move left and right like this. We can use this y-axis for moving it up and down. And this is the z-axis through which we can see how forward or backward we want this plane to be embedded in the scene. So I plan to place an image right here at the bottom of my panel and add some text over here. So I'll just place this here and you can see as I'm changing the position of this plane, something is changing in the inspector panel. Just have a look at the inspector panel while I change the position. So now I'm using the x-axis and dragging it a little bit here. Have a look at the inspector panel and you can see the position on the x-axis is continuously changing as we are changing the position with the help of x-axis. So this is one way in which we can change the position. The other way is that we can manually type in the values that we want here in the X, Y, and Z panel in the position section. So of course, we'll be using this panel also and see how this works. But for now, we'll be sticking to the axis because a plane is not a very complex 3D object and its position can be easily controlled with the help of axis. But in some cases, when you are making a certain complex 3D effect, there might be objects where you have to make micro changes. So for those micro changes, we head to the inspector panel and we make very small changes. For example, the position right now is something 0.13621. So what if I want to change it by a very little margin, and that is tough by using the axis. I just want to shift it very little to the right or left. That is when we'll be heading to the inspector panel and making certain changes. So we have three options in transformations here. One is position, of course. I told you it's for setting the object that we are adding in the scene. The second is scale. So scale is basically the size of the 3D objects that we are adding. For example, right now the size is pretty small. What if we want to increase it? So we have to increase the size by putting values here in these three axes. So when we add any object, by default, the scale is always mentioned as 111. In some cases, it might be very small when it's 1. In some cases, it might be very big. We can change it according to ourselves. So I want to add an image here. So I'll just increase the size a little bit more. Let's see what it does when I add 1.5. So you can see it has increased a little bit, but it has not covered the full scene as I want. And I'll do that now. So let's try a 2. Better, but still not completely in the scene. So let's try making a double of it. Let's try a 4. Yeah. So now I think we have to just drag it a little bit from here. And now our plane has been added where I want it. Of course, we'll be adding more things to it. We'll be beautifying our effect. But this is how the alignment works. So now we haven't changed anything on the y-axis, so it has not changed. If we want to make any difference here, we can do that as well. For example, I'll change it to a 1.2 to just show you guys. You can see the value on the y-axis changed accordingly as I entered some value here. Similarly for the z-axis. Now for the rotation. So as I told you, we can change the rotation of this also. It is by default it is always set 000 and 111 here in the scale. We can change it, we can experiment with it, but what if you get stuck somewhere while adjusting the rotation? Simple method for overcoming that is you just put everything back to 000, and the object, whatever object you have added, will be placed at the dead center of the screen. So sometimes, if the alignment goes out of your hand, if you want to start from the very beginning, you don't want to lose everything that you've added in your effect. You just need to set everything to a 000, and everything will be placed at the center. You can start realigning it again. So if you want to change the rotation, I'll show you 90-degree. So now you can see the x-axis has rotated by 90-degree, and it looks something like this. But I'm not trying to rotate it here. I'm just showing you guys how it works. I'll just set it back to a 0. So we can of course change the scale and rotation from here also. How that works is, now I have selected adjust the position and selected object. So it is showing me the 3 axis, so controlling it. What if I click here? Now it is showing something like this, a ball type structure, which actually indicates that now we can rotate this panel. So see, I'm just simply rotating it using this. So the similar thing we did with the axis, with the inspector panel, the same thing we are doing here manually. So you can just use any one of you which you feel comfortable with. I have been comfortable using both of them, so I can just, rotate between whatever I want. You guys can choose whatever fits you the best. So as I change the rotation here, you can see the value change in the inspector panel also. And one more thing, if you guys are using the studio for the first time and if you have a mouse at home, you just connect your mouse with your laptop, because it's easier to work in this studio for the first time with the help of a mouse. Of course, it's very easy to use it with the touchpad of your laptop also, and I'm actually using the touchpad right now. But for beginners, and if you don't have control over the touchpad, I just suggest you connect a mouse if you have one. It will be a lot easier for you, but there won't be any issues even if you are using the touchpad. So I have just seen that the alignment changed. I'll just set it back to 0 because that's what I wanted. It hardly made any difference because our change that we made was a very micro change. Scale, I told you, you can change the scale from here also, but we have set our scale, so we're not going to change it right now. So now the plane has been added, everything has been added. Now the main part is remaining, that we have to include an image in the scene. How will that be done? So just follow my instructions and see how easily we'll add an image to this effect, and that image will also move with our real-time face stimulation. So I'll just select plane here, from here, or from here, and head to the inspector panel. So the flow always goes by selecting something that you want to make a change in from the scene panel, then moving on to the inspector panel. So I'll just click on materials, and you can see as I clicked on materials, the checkered effect that we had has gone, and now there's a grayish effect that has come and that has been present in the bottom of our screen. So what is a material and why have we added it? So a material is basically like a cover of your object. It basically changes and manages whatever you are adding or how you want your object to look. And this works both for 3D and 2D objects. For example, if I want to change the color of this plane that I've added, I can't simply do it by clicking on the plane and seeing what options I have available here. The option to change the color won't appear until we have added a material to it. So material is just like the face tracker. This is a common thing that you have to add always when you're making an effect. You can't skip this part because this will eventually come back and you won't be able to make changes in your effect without adding the material. So as I told you, for the face tracker, even if you're making a very simple effect, you have to add a face tracker, and same goes for the material. Whatever material you are making, you need, whatever effect you are making, you need to add a material to it, and not just one. We usually end up adding 2 or 3 materials depending upon how many objects that we have added. So you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. A material has been added here. The checkered box is gone. Now it is something gray. So whenever we add a material, everything appears this gray because this is the default material that is added by the studio. We'll be changing the color and everything that we want with it. And a tip that always rename the material whatever you are adding simultaneously, because we end up adding a lot of material when we make effects and at the end you usually get confused, so it's always better to rename it. So this was a material that I added for my plane, so I've renamed it as the plane material. When we add materials for other objects, I rename them also simultaneously. So now you can see nothing much has changed in our panel, and we have as main thing is still remaining to add the image. So for that, I'll just click on plane material, head to the inspector panel and choose a file. So I have downloaded a bunch of files that I can include in my effect. So let's just see which one fits the best. So you can see I have added one image here that says thank you heroes, and it's a little out of the scene, it's a little to the left. What I'll do is I'll set the alignment of it, but first I'll show you how this is looking. So you can see as our face stimulation is moving, the image that we have added is also moving. So this is what the face tracker has done. The image is moving, and if we want to add a static image, that also we can do, but there's some limitations to adding static images in, because we have certain policies of what effects get accepted by Facebook and what does not. So like a few days back, if we added a static image, that was accepted by Instagram, but they've updated their policy now, and now if we add anything static that's not moving, our effect ends up getting rejected. So this is some update that has happened. So how you can add something that you want static is you have to change the background using the segmentation. That is something of a different kind. This is something we are learning very simple. So I just want to tell you that you can't add static images to it. You have to add some kind of animations to it because of the policies, and things get rejected by Instagram sometimes because they've updated their policies. That's why I have not added a static image. I have added something that is aligning with our face tracker. So I have to change it. I have to set the alignment again. I'll just click on plane and I'll see that it gets a little better. The alignment gets a little better. I'll just see what we can do with it. Let's see how this works. So of course, with alignment, you need to have a little patience, and once you get the hang of it, you'll be easily able to use the studio. I just want to shift my effect a little bit on the left side and maybe decrease the size of the Z axis. So now we have it to 3 or to 4. Let's just make it to what, say 3.1. Let's see what happens. So yeah, now our image is looking better, and every image that we have here is here. So that is what I've done, and I think we have to increase it a little bit on the y-axis also. So let's see. So this is what I was talking about. Here we are making micro changes. Like I just made a 0.1 difference, and it actually made a lot of difference on the preview panel. So for this kind of micro changes, we head to the inspector panel, and for any other changes, of course, we can use this panel as well. So now you can see the sticker or the image that we've added is looking a little better, and it's also aligning with our panel. As our face is moving, it's also moving, and we have also aligned whatever we have added with the theme, that is to appreciate the efforts of the frontline workers. So I'll pause it here and I'll see what all other things we can add in order to make our effect look a little better. So we've added image. Let's add some text to it. How we're going to do that is we just need to click on this option here, add 3D objects or 2D. So we have two options for adding the text. One is the 3D text and the other is the 2D text. So I'm just trying to add a 3D text here. Of course, we can add the 2D text also. But first, what I want to do is I want to add a rectangle here, a transparent rectangle, and over that rectangle, I'll add some color to it, and over that rectangle, I'll add the text that I want to. So for that, I'll go to 2D objects and add a rectangle. Just click on rectangle and see here in the scene panel, we've added a face tracker, a plane, and we've added a rectangle. We didn't add a canvas, the canvas came automatically, and the rectangle has been added below the canvas. So this is the chain or the hierarchy that I was talking about. Things are added in a very well defined manner by the studio itself. We don't have to set the alignment by coming to the scene panel again and again. So this is what we've done. I want this to extend here. And now you can see it's looking something like the plane that we have added, but there's one small difference that we can't see the three axes that we had while using the plane, and we don't have those options here of controlling, the rotation, the scale, and everything else. All those options have not appeared for this rectangle. Why is it so? Because the rectangle that we've added, it's a 2D object, and the plane that we added was a 3D object. So in usually also we know that 2D effects don't have axis, and we don't have to control it using the x, y, and z axis, while the 3D objects have those. So it's easier to control the 2D objects, a little bit less uh, complex than adding 3D objects. But while we are working with the 2D objects, what we do is we just simply control the length, alignment, or whatever we are adding by this option that we have here. We don't have to work with the axis, so it gets a little easy while we are working with 2D objects. So now you can see this has spread out here as I did, and depending upon the version that you are using, you might sometimes not get this option to simply increase and decrease the length of this rectangle that I have added. So for that, what you can do is you can simply head to the inspector panel, click on these alignments present here. For example, if I click here, our rectangle will be placed at the center of the scene. Similarly, all these things will be done, and this is how you can do it. But I think now in all the versions available, it's not an issue. We can simply control it by this panel here. So now it's again has a checkered effect to it. We don't want that. We'll just click on rectangle here. From scene panel, we'll move to inspector panel and add a material for it. You can see we have an option of adding a material here. We'll just click on material. We have options to select the plain material as well as create new material. So if we click on plain material, this image that we have added will appear here on the rectangle as well, but we don't want that. We are trying to create a new material and a separate material for the rectangle. So we'll click on material and we'll rename it simultaneously. As I told you, to avoid confusions, we just rename everything. So one was the plain material, that was for this part here. Now we've added a rectangle material, that is here. So this is what we've done. You can see it is again appearing in a gray color. So now we'll change the color of it. Earlier we just added an image to it. Now we'll change the color. So we'll just click on material from here, rectangle material, because we're working with that. Go to the inspector panel and click on color. So we have a bunch of color options here, and I'll just put something that aligns with the color, that the image that I've added, and of course select how dark or light we want it to look. So I'll just stick to a little lighter tone and see if it is aligning with the color that I've added. A little lighter, yeah, let's see. And also, if you know the code of a particular color, you can just put it here, as we know that each color has a particular code, and if you're specific about what color you want and that particular code, you can just put it here and click on OK. That color will appear itself, and I'm not doing that here because we have amazing colors here as well. We can just simply use it from our Spark AR Studio. Now you can see the color has changed, but I think it is a little darker. I'll just keep it a little on the lighter side. Yeah. Okay, so this one is looking fine, and now you can see the color has changed, and we'll now add a text over it. But before that, we have many other options for this rectangle. So if we move to our material section here, you can see we have certain options as we move down. So we have blend mode, and we have double sided and all these options. So we're not going to use all of them right now, because we don't usually work with these options here, the blend mode and everything. What we use is this slider here. So this actually controls how opaque your box or whatever you have added looks, or how transparent you want. So right now it is set to 100. If you want to make it a little lighter, we can just slide this slider and see how the image is looking now. Since our color was opaque when we added it, we're just trying to make it a little lighter. Yeah, so you can see we'll just set this slider here to 62, and we can see now the color of the rectangle box is a little light. Of course, you can change the color or anything that you want anytime, but we are moving in a well defined manner, so we won't do that again and again. If you feel like changing the color, you can do it according to your choice and according to your preference. So now I've added everything that we want. The one thing that is remaining right now is to actually add a text. So how can we do that? I told you we'll just go to the add option here. We'll click on adding 2D objects, because I'm trying to add the 3D text. And if you want to add a 2D text, feel free to do that as well. But I'm adding a 3D text, so I'll just click on 3D text. Yeah. So since the text was a 3D text, so all these options have come back, which were not available for the rectangle that we have added. Now we have a text here. In the similar way that we did for the plane, we can control these panels here, and you can see the 3D text has also come under the canvas part. We'll just try to set the alignment of using these axes, and as I change here, the alignment in the inspector panel is also changing. So that is something we had a look at, and I'll just place this text here. And let's see, let's just bring it a little forward so that it gives a little better look to our text. So with using our z-axis, we can do that. And just a minute, we'll see how that works. Yeah, so I've increased it a little bit more, and I'll just set it back to where it was. Yeah, I have placed it here because I want my text to appear here. Of course, you can choose where you want your text. I'm just showing you a simple example through which you will be able to make at least one effect by the end of the session. So now we'll head to the inspector panel, type in whatever we want. So thank you heroes is always written here, and I'll just write COVID warriors. And one more thing, while you are making the effects, don't add hashtags to any kind of text that you're adding. I mean, hashtags are cool and everything, but if you add a hashtag in your effect, if you include that, your effect will end up getting rejected. So this is something about the Instagram policies. You don't need to add any hashtags to avoid any kind of rejection at the end of it. Your efforts will go into vain. You can definitely add it by the filter effect that we have on Instagram, but not here in the studio. Don't add it. So now we can see we have an option here, because our text is going out of line, and we need to make it come back into our scene. So we'll head to the scale panel, and you can see I'm trying to make micro changes here. So I've come back to the inspector panel. The scale is right now set to 0.00125. Let's make it a little smaller and see what it does. So it is still a little out of our line. Let's make it a little less. Still out of the line. So we can of course experiment and keep on changing the whatever we want the text to look like till we get our desired effect. So I'll do something similar for the y-axis also, because it will look better if we change on both the sides and not only on the x-axis. Similarly, on the z-axis, yeah, on the z-axis also 85. Now we can see our text is looking better. We'll just align it according to ourselves, and now we'll change the color of this text, because we have now simply added a material for it. You can see a material has appeared here, and if we want to change the color of it, we can directly change it from here, or what we can do is we can just head to this 3D text option here, go to our inspector panel and add separate materials that we want for it. So since our text is a 3D text, we have three materials for it: the front, the side, and the back. So the front material is how the text is looking when we make it. The main part is the front text, the front material. So if we add a material, it will only change the appearance or color whatever we are adding for the front side. And for the back side, if we want to change something for the back side, we have to select the material for that. For the side, if we want to add something for the side, we end up changing for the side. So this is something that we'll be doing. Let's start with adding for the front material and see what it does. So let's create a new material and let's just name it as front text material, because we'll be adding one or two materials for the back and side also. Front text material. So as you can see, we actually made a very basic effect, but still we have added up, like four materials already. And if we had not named it, we would have definitely gotten confused. So to renaming the material options available to us for our ease only. So I'll just go to color option here after clicking on front text here, and I'll change it to, let's say, a dark blue, because our image has a dark blue color. Okay, so now you can see that the color is to a dark blue and our effect looks something like this. So this is how I plan to keep my effect for now. Of course, there are various options to it. We can change everything about it, and but since this is a very basic tutorial that I'm giving you guys, if you want to learn something more complex, a little more complicated, we have recorded certain videos on YouTube on this particular channel. You can have a look at them. And also we are having a session on 20th, that is tomorrow at 4 p.m. You can join us for that, and we'll be learning something a little more exciting, not just working with the 2D objects. So I'll just unpause it and see how our effect is looking. So this is what I have done, and this is how I have made the 2D effect for you guys as reference. You can also make something similar and submit it. And now coming to the part of submitting it. So before submitting it, let's try to add something from the AR library. What if we want to add a face mask, a normal face mask, because that's how the world is rolling right now in the pandemic era? Let's try adding a face mask to our object and see if we are able to align it with the movement of our face or not. And if we are not able to do, and if you are unable to do that, we'll just so let's make it in the next effect, because I think you guys might get confused if I add one thing to one effect. So let's keep it like this for now, and let's just click on this option here. So we have an option to publish our effect here. We can obviously publish this effect by going on the browser and typing Spark AR Hub, but we don't need to do that. Our studio has one option here that says publish. So if we click on this option, it will redirect us to the Spark AR Hub, and we'll be able to submit our effect there. So let me just click here and see where it redirects me. So now we are at the stage of publishing it. We have certain requirements here as well. So it says, what do you want to do? We have two options here: publish a new effect or update an existing effect. So, in case you guys have submitted one effect or you will do it after the session, and after it has gotten approved by Instagram and Facebook, you want to change something to it while keeping everything else same. You want to change something to it and you want to add certain objects that you have learned. So, for that, what we'll do is we'll just click on update effect option here. But since we are using this option for the first time, publishing the effect for the first time, we'll stick to publish new effects. Of course, you can update it as I told you, but for now let's start with publishing effect. So here we have an option to submit a demo video. Now, what is a demo video? A demo video is basically a short video of you showcasing how your effect will look. So you just have to record a video from here, and it can be a very small 5 to 6 second video that shows how your effect is looking on your face. So this is something that is completely optional. That is something that you, if you want to do, you can do, but it's totally optional. If you want to save some time, you don't need to do it. So you can skip this part and you can check the requirements. So there are two requirements that should be met. One is the file size and the other is the capabilities. So the file size is basically that, we the effect that you have made or created has to be under 30 MB. So if you add objects, so if you import it from Google or if you take it from AR library, you add something to it and the size is a little bigger and it's not fitting in the prescribed size requirements, the studio will first itself try to compress your file. So since our file is under the given requirements, it's not taking me to that option. But sometimes if your file is little larger, you'll just see an arrow here and you click on that arrow and the AR Studio will first try to compress your file itself. So depending upon what objects you have added, it may take some time. It will take 3 to 4 minutes, not in hours. It will just take few minutes and your effect will be compressed. Usually that happens. You don't need to separately compress it. But if you are making a very complex effect, then you might have to compress it using other options. But in 99% cases, the studio itself compresses it. And capabilities met. So what does this option means? So basically, we have guidelines for submitting any effect or filter that we publish on Instagram. We can't add anything and everything to it. Of course, we are free to use our imagination and make cool effects, but it should follow certain guidelines. There are you can click on the Spark AI policies and have a look at that policies. It's not something very complex that you need to spend like half an hour or 1 hour reading it and understanding it. It's nothing like that. What you need to do is you just need to keep in mind certain community guidelines. Be respectful to whatever text you are adding, whatever image you are adding. It should not be something objectionable. It should not be something that is degrading someone, some community, something like that. It should be respectable and it should not contain certain other objects like if suppose you're adding a video file, that is totally acceptable. An audio file, that is also acceptable. Any sticker, any kind of image, all of that is accepted. But certain things like suppose a QR code, if you try to add that, then it will end up getting rejected. You can't add all those things, and as I told you, you have to be a little responsible and a little respectful while publishing content on social media. So just, I think we all are smart enough to do that. So just that capabilities met means that, and I'll just upload it now and see where it takes me. So now we can see we don't have to click on the on the Spark AR Hub separately in our browser. Our AR Studio has automatically redirected us to this Spark AR Hub. And this is the second last step for completing the challenge that we have taken up. So you can see we have an option to submit here, but don't just click on submit right away. We'll just have to fill a few details here. As you can see, the file has already been exported here. We don't have to separately import it. If you open the Spark AR Hub from the browser, and not directly from the Spark AR Studio, you need to upload this file again. And why to do that hustle? Just simply click on the Spark AR Studio, and you can see for the past like 50 minutes we didn't go out of the studio. Everything was inbuilt, the library, every effect that we wanted. We just included one image that we had downloaded. So we don't need to go out of the studio unless and until it is required. If you want to add something out of the box, use your creation. So for that you need to go out of the studio. Other than that, everything is inbuilt at the studio. You won't face any issue. So I've actually ended up submitting a lot of effects because I've been doing this for a while now. So let's just give our effect a name. Let's just say it gives thank you, since let's just give it the frontline workers effect. So I think we have word limit, so I'll just stick to frontline workers. And you guys might have noticed when you use some effect or filter on Instagram, sometimes the effect that you are using is mentioned as XYZ effect by this person. So how that person's name appears there is through this option. If you put your effect the name here, like if you want to name it this effect by your name, or if I want to put it, I can put it right now by Tanisha Rana. So that is how that appears. So if someone is using your effect, you'll be definitely notified, and that person will also get to know that this effect was made by this person. So your effect will show that you had made it. These two options have been fulfilled. Let's just scroll down a little bit and see what are all options we have to fill right now. So we have an option to control the platforms on which the effect will go. Since the Spark AR Hub and this whole challenge is an initiative of Facebook, we of course have two social media sites to publish it, Facebook and Instagram. So you can choose whatever site you want, or you can choose both of them, or you can choose just one. For me, this option is not currently available here because I have not linked my Insta account here. I can do that and just sign in a moment, but I don't want to waste time in that. Because in any case, if it get published, if it gets accepted, even if I have not selected one platform here, for example, if I have not selected Instagram here right now, and once my effect is ready to use, and I want to use it on Instagram, I can just simply take the link and with the link try that. So that works that way. Sorry. So I'll just stick to Facebook for now. And now audience. So we have you can control who will use your effect or who can see your effect. If you want your effect to be in public domain and to be available to everyone who is present on Instagram, not only to your followers or your following list, then you select public. If you That makes no difference, because even if your account is private and you want your effect to reach a million people, everyone using Instagram, you keep it public. But if you want to keep it a little more on the personal side, you can just click on link only, and with this option it will appear in your effect section, and it will be visible to the people only in your followers list. So for the public, if you have a public account, I think you will be going with this option, public, here. And if you have a private account, you can choose between these both. If you want to keep it in the public domain, just select it to public. If you want to just restrict it to the people in your followers list, just keep it to link only. And there's one more option here. All this will be added automatically because while signing up for the challenge, we logged into our Facebook account. So all that has been added here. My Facebook account has been added here. And in case, nowadays we have shifted to Instagram. In case you don't have a Facebook account, I would suggest you for this challenge, it is necessary. So you have to create one Facebook account. Even I created one for specifically for this challenge. I was using Instagram only before that. So you can do that. And we have one option here to upload an icon. What is an icon? So an icon is one picture of yourself using your effect, but this is totally optional. You can select it if you want it. I'm not doing that because it's optional, and why to waste time in using something that's optional. And if you click a picture, it will appear here in this box. It's basically showing you how your effect is going to look on Instagram. And one more thing, If I click on public, so you will see a little difference here. So the options have increased now as I have moved on from link only to public. So now we have categories here. You can select any category that you want. That doesn't make any difference. Selfies, world AR, immersive games, anything. But up to 4 categories, you can select anything. So what is this categories? Basically, because many people upload their filters or effects on Instagram, and we know that our feed is aligned according to what we see. So if you had made something that contains something that can only be used in something weird or scary. For example, if you have created a Halloween effect apart from this challenge, don't create something like that for this challenge. So you'll put it in this section. So people whose feed align with these kind of posts, your effect will be first visible to them. Of course, it will be available to everyone, but it will be a priority in their list. So we know how that works. Keyword is totally optional. It's like hashtags. We use hashtags to make our post reach a wider audience. Similarly, we'll be using keywords to without adding the hashtags to make our effect reach a wider audience. That's optional. If you want to do that, you can do that. Now you can see when I had put in the link only option, there was no option to upload a demo video or upload. This icon option was also optional. But if you keep it to public, you have to capture a video, you have to upload a file or picture of yourself using your effect. So this is some changes in the audience section if you change it, and you can just select it if you want your effect to appear using your thumbnail video or your image. And collaborators, it's something that basically influencers and all use if they doing some paid promotions and making effects for them, and they want to include that collaborator or something, or if they want to invite someone. So we are not going to do that right now here. That was optional, you saw. So to decrease the time and effort that we are putting in, I'll just click to link only. And of course, if I want to use it and share it with my friends, I'll be able to do so. Don't think that if you add link only option, it will only be available to a few people. You can definitely post it. That won't be an issue. So everything is filled here. Our effect has been uploaded by Spark AI Studio itself. Name has been done. Platforms have been chosen. Audience have been chosen. Now let me just click on publish button. You can see our file is being uploaded, and again, depending upon the size of your file, the time varies. If you have added certain large objects to it, it will take 4 to 5 minutes, not in hours. Ours was a very simple one, so it has been published immediately. Now you can see I have got this pop-up that says you have published your effect. Now share it with someone by sending them the link. So this option will appear regardless of whether you have selected the public domain option or the link only option, because you want, if you want to share the link of the effect that you have created outside of Facebook and Instagram, you can use this link. And suppose if you want to share it on WhatsApp, you can just click on this link. A link will appear, copy it and done, and you can just copy paste it somewhere and then use this link. But of course, since this initiative is of Facebook, the two social media sites where you will be able to use it will be Facebook and Instagram. And we know that Instagram is the reality that we are using right now. So I think majority of people are using it on Instagram only. So the last step for this challenge to conclude is that when you are being redirected here, you just have to click on effects from here. You can see I have ended up submitting a large number of effects because I've been doing this for a long time now. So you'll just take a screenshot of this page that shows the name of your effect, the visibility, and the review status. So my effect got accepted immediately. That might happen with you all because I have submitted certain effects earlier also. So that can be the reason, or I don't know. I mean, it takes like few hours or 1 to 2 days for an effect to get accepted, because it is actually reviewed by the Facebook authorities to check whether it is following the community guidelines and everything like that, which I told you earlier. So when you upload it, the review status will show in review. So you take a screenshot of that page only. Don't wait till it get accepted. It will eventually get accepted. In certain cases, it happens that it get rejected. And even if it gets rejected, it will show you the reason why it has rejected your effect. So it can be something that your effect had some kind of image or something that was not aligning with the effect, not aligning with the theme. If you want to make something for personal use, you can do that as well, but I told you, for this challenge, stick to this theme, otherwise it will get rejected. Stick to getting appreciating frontline workers and celebrate getting vaccinated. So you have to take a screenshot of this page while your effect is in review phase or it has been accepted. Just immediately take a screenshot and submit it in the dashboard. What is the dashboard? The dashboard is basically the page where you registered for the effect, the link which Anuj showed you in the beginning, through which you registered and for the challenge and signed up for the challenge. Where in that page a dashboard has been created for you guys. There's an option to upload a screenshot. You just have to upload the screenshot, and that's the final and the last step for this challenge. Once you have submitted the screenshot, you just have to wait for your effect to get accepted, and then you are eligible for winning the rewards from our side. We'll be sending you a certificate and we'll be sending you a t-shirt for appreciating your efforts that you have put in and the time that you will be investing in making this effect. Now I'll just stop sharing my screen and I'll take up the questions that you guys might have. So just give me a moment. I'll stop sharing my screen and then we can continue with the Q&A sessions. If you guys want me to show something else, I'll show you that as well. Just a moment. Yeah. So so now we can take the Q&A session. If you guys have any doubts, I'm just checking the chat box. Just give me a moment. Yeah, there are a few questions that we have to take. Okay, I'll start from the beginning. Just wait. Okay, when I clicked on the blank, still getting one more dialog box, not getting the window that you have. Okay, so the first thing I would tell you, if you guys are facing any issues that requires my personal attention, I will put a link to the Slack channel, or I will ask Anuj to do that. Anuj, if you're here, you just put a link to the Slack channel. We have created a small Slack channel for all the people who are participating in the challenge, and our team is there. I am there. Anuj is there. We'll help. We'll help you guys solving any queries that you face. Not getting the window that you have. Okay, I think Dhairya, you have to message me on Slack channel. I'm unable to understand. Just send me a screenshot of whatever issue you're facing.
Okay, so what you can do is that after registering on the website, just click on the communication channel. You will directly join our Slack workspace, and there we'll be happy to help you. And if you guys are facing any issues with the studio, you can send us a screenshot, and if we can, we'll help you virtually by telling what to do and how to proceed further with that. And all the students who are submitting the effect on Facebook Sparkia's dashboard, publishing the effect and submitting the screenshot on our platform on Incubate IND's dashboard would receive the T-shirt and certificate. So this is how it's
Yeah.
gonna go.
Yes, absolutely. And now moving on to the other question, how to change text color to tap screen. Okay, so for tapping the screen and adding animations like that, we have to add the patch editors. So that is something that we are doing, and that is something, it's a little bit on the higher level. We have actually made a video on this channel itself that shows how you can include a screen tap. You can check that out, and if you want me to explain it personally to it, you just come to the Slack channel, message me, I'll tell you that. How to change the text color? Yeah, so I changed the text color by adding the material to it. So I told you, to change the text color you have to add material to it. If you are still facing issue, I'll just show you once again after taking other questions. So just add a material, click on that material from the assets panel, and then change the color of the text. So that is how the text can be added. How to download effects? There are no, I mean, you have to create your own effects. Of course, there are no pre recorded effects on the Spark AR Studio. So that is Okay, I think someone is adding, I'm not able to download objects from the AR library. Yeah, so that can be one reason, because you have not logged into your Facebook. Just click on AR library and see what is it showing. Click on whatever object you're trying to import, click on import free. And if it is redirecting you to Facebook or Sketchfab, just log in there, and after that, after you have logged in, you will be able to download objects from them. If the problem still persists, of course I'm available on the Slack channel, just message me. And yeah, so I think a lot of people are facing issue with the objects that they are trying to import from the AR library. I'll just show that. I'll just share my screen. Okay, are the ideas sent by us all eligible? Yeah, so it's not a competition that the best effect out of all the submitted will won. All of you who will be submitting your effects, and if your effect gets accepted, which gets accepted in 99% cases, we'll be sending you the certificate and the t-shirt as a token of appreciation for participating in this challenge. Yes, for this effect, can we upload effects only about COVID-19 or vaccination? Yes, Mayur, for this effect, you have to for this challenge, you have to align the effect that you are making with this theme. Apart from that, for your personal use, you're free to use the studio, you can experiment, but for this particular challenge, you have to align it with the theme. The t-shirt is for everyone. How to download effects, I'll just tell in a minute. How to implement face mask. Okay, I'll just show that. I'll just quickly show you how to just put a face mask. We have to upload screenshot after getting. Okay, you can submit the screenshot just after submitting. It will show that the review status is in the review phase. Don't wait till it get accepted, because the challenge is closing tomorrow, and even if you submit your effect before 20th and it is not accepted, it will be accepted within 1 or 2 days. So you'll be still eligible for the rewards if you submit the screenshot.
And there were few queries that where we have to submit. So after Tanisha shows the face mask issues, I'll be sharing my screen and showing you where you have to submit the screenshots. So Tanisha, I guess you can share your screen and
Yeah.
start with the face mask.
Yeah, I'll just quickly show you guys how to add the face mask and also how to import objects from the AR Studio. I hope my screen is visible. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So we'll start with a fresh effect because I don't want you guys to get confused. I'll just close this one and I'll discard this one because I've already saved it. Don't discard yours. Just save it if you, in case you want to update it. Let's click on new project and let's see what we have here. So this is how the studio appears. We know that. So for adding the face mask, both our queries will be cleared. How to add objects to our AR library and import objects from our AR library, and how to align it. So let's click on AR library and let's see where it takes us. So it is taking us here. Let's see face mask. So we have a bunch of options for face mask here. There are some, scary ones also, but we're not taking that. We'll just take the plain mask. Let's take this one, for example. So I think many of you guys are facing issue here. When you import free, you get redirected to Facebook or to log into Sketchfab. Just log in there or sign up if you have not. I have already done that, so that's why I am able to download it. And okay, once this downloading changes to done, that means your effect has been imported. Let's see. Yeah, you can see in the assets panel the face mask, the face protection dust mask has been added, but it's nowhere to be seen in our panel. So I'll just zoom this one first and set the alignment straight. Shift it a little to the left. Yeah. So for that, what you need to do is just take this face mask, drag it between the focal distance and ambient light, and you will see a face mask has appeared. It is little on this side. It is not in our panel. So this is how we have done it. And I actually forgot to add one step. So I have to maybe delete this. Yeah, I'll just delete it. We can add it again. I'll add a face tracker. So that is what I forgot to do. Let's just add a face tracker because the face mask will be on the face tracker. So now we'll go to the library again, and let's just try one more time. It will appear like this, and when it is done, it means it has been imported. Okay, so face protection dust mask has come here. Now what we need to do is just drag it, just select it from here, drag it between the focal distance and the ambient light, and place it here. So now we can see the face mask is there, but it is, nowhere to be seen in our panel. Or where has it gone? So we'll just shift it in our panel, and what we'll do is first we'll head to actions by selecting the face mask here. We'll just click here, and we'll just select position on face, and since we want it on our mouth, we'll just select mouth. So you can see this patch editor. Let's leave for now. This effect is not right now on our face. It is moving with the alignment of our face, but it is a little out of the scene. That all we can arrange by the scene panel. I'll just pause this here. I'll just head to this side. First, I'll change the scale of it. It's too huge. I'll just put the scale to 0.07. Let's see, and 0.1 here. You can see slowly it's aligning with our face. And let's see what happens now if I change the position of to 0.07 on. Yeah, so now you can see it is on our face, but we need to set the alignment using these axes. So I'll just click here, try to align it with my scene. Yeah, so now it is looking better. And let's see if it has properly aligned or not, because we need to while we're adding objects to our face, we need to spend like a few minutes and see if it is properly aligning or not. So we can see it is aligning, but as it moves sidewards, it's not being placed properly. So let's just wait for this simulation to come at a proper position, and then we'll see how we can. Yeah, let's see what we can do with this, and how will we place it properly so that it looks like a proper mask. So using the Z axis, let's just let's just push it a little into the scene and see how it has appeared. So again, the alignment has changed. I told you, while adding these objects, we need to take care of the alignment a little more. Let's increase the size on Z axis first to 1.2. So you need to spend some amount of time in adjusting this face mask and how it appears. But don't worry, even if your alignment is not correct, if you're a beginner, if you end up submitting like this also, it will get accepted. Don't worry about that. And you can change the color and everything of the mask. So this is how it has been added. You can I'll just try to make it a little more into the scene, and let's change the scale. Is again changed since we worked something with the y-axis, with the z-axis. Let's try to increase it to a 1.3 and see what. Yeah, so all these things are being done now, and let's see if we can just increase the scale on y-axis also. Yeah, so now it is looking better. Now it is actually looking like a mask, not something that is just hovering in front of our face. Yeah, so now it is looking like a mask. It is aligning with our face. We can set the alignment according to ourselves. If you're facing any issues in aligning, it takes some time to set hand on the AR Studio. For me also, it took some time. Now we can see, now if we want to change, I think someone asked about changing the color of the text also. So similarly, for this face mask, we have one material you can see in the panel. Similarly, for the text also, we will also have to add a material. It is currently Lambert 1, black in color. We'll just click here. And we'll create a new material, or we can just move on with this material. I'll just create a new material. You can see a material has been created. Now we can change the color of it, set it to something that we want. Let's just align something with its t-shirt, whatever shirt he's wearing. Yeah, so now we can see the color has been changed, the everything has been done. And yeah, now we have the mask on, so I think it's clear. Of course, for the alignment you have to spend like 3-4 minutes, set the alignment right, but this is how you can add the mask. I'll just stop sharing my screen now, and we'll take some other question. If we have any other questions, we'll just take them right now. Yeah, so many of you are facing. Yeah, so for the instructions to open the mouth and everything else, that is something we work with the patch editors. That is something we can't simply put it. We have to work with the patch editors, and patch editors are not very complex things. I have made a video about the patch editors also, and we have recorded it, and you can see it on this channel itself. We are also having a session tomorrow. You can join us for that. So if you want to add screen taps and in animations, that all will be covered tomorrow. Yeah, site can't be reached. Yeah, so that might be an error. Try after some time. Not able to download AR Studio. So yeah, that's one issue. I mean, that's network issue that we all face. So we can't really help you in sitting here. Just try. I'll help you in everything. But these network issues and all, I think you'll have to, wait for some time for 4 or 5 minutes. Try again. Okay, if we have to submit both the effects, okay, so you can submit both the effects also on both the themes that we have mentioned. That's not an issue. One is compulsory. After that, you're free to, submit many effects. Mask is not moving with the face. Yeah. So for that, what you can do is, if the mask is not moving with the screen, so what that, what you can do is, you can add a face tracker. So you can see, even when I was trying to add the mask, I forgot to add the face tracker first. So if you want to, yeah, the face, if you want to align it with the face movement, you have to add a face tracker, and then drag the object like the face mask between the focal length and the ambient line. So that way it will align with your face movements.
Till then, I'll share my screen and take you guys through the process of submitting the screenshot on the dashboard. So just give me a moment. So basically, this is the website. After registering, you will be seeing a dashboard button here. Just click on dashboard and you'll be redirected to the dashboard. And this is the PPT that I was talking about. Here we have all the steps of creating your first studio as well, first AR effect as well. So you have to submit your screenshot here. Just click here, select the problem statement which you are working on, select the image where you have saved it, the location. You can just select any image which you have saved, click on open and then submit ideas. And this is how your submission will take place after publishing the effect. And the screenshot, as Tanisha told you, you can take the screenshot of the pop-up that thank you for submitting. We can use that, or you can go to the effects section, effects panel, and take a screenshot of that. So this is how you submit. And when you click on communication channel, you will get the link, and then you can join the Slack workspace. So this is it for submitting your idea. I mean your screenshot. So if you have any more questions, we can take
Yeah,
it.
I mean, we have a question. Sketchfab is not working. So, RJ Maheshwari, if Sketchfab is not working, that is how the internet works. Sometimes sites are down, sometimes they're working fine. Just try after like 10-15 minutes. That will be all right. That's nothing to worry about. If there's anything else that bothers you, please drop a message here or just connect with us on Slack channel. Add a face mask with external PNG image. Yeah, so you can add a face mask, but if you add a PNG image, it won't align with your face, because as you could see, the face mask that we imported from the AR Studio was a 3D effect, and if you want to align it with your face, you have to if you want to add something externally from any other source, make sure that you download a face mask that is 3D object. And why to get in those complexities? just take something from the AR studio and you can change the color and everything how it looks. But if you're trying to add a face mask, a PNG image and trying to align it, it won't work. How to change the text color? Okay, I'll just tell that also in a minute. I was using a face mesh. Yeah, so face mesh can also be worked, but face mesh is something else. I have made a video about it, have a look at it. But for your for easily understanding it, just use a face tracker. Face mesh is something that we use. Of course, I have used it in the other video that I have made, the one in which I was trying to align the hat. Have a look at it and see how face mesh also works. But face mesh won't work if you're trying to add a PNG image. So adding a face mesh won't make any difference if you're trying to add a 2D object. Can we submit 2 screenshots, Anuj?
Yes, you can submit 2 or more screenshots, but after approving your field effect, you will be getting only one t-shirt. If you're thinking you submit more screenshots, you'll get more t-shirts. So that's now the goodies distribution would work. Each submission would get one t-shirt from one single participant. So if you're submitting three, you can submit, you can contribute to the augmented reality, but you will be getting only one goodie.
Yeah. If you want to change, Parth has asked how to change the screen text color to tap screen. So I understand what you're saying. When you tap on the screen, the color changes of the text. So that is no, that is something we work with patch editors, and that is what I was telling. I have made a video for patch editors. Have a look. If you want to add a screen tap that changes color, you have to add patch editors. We have made a video. Have a look at it. If still the problem persists, connect with us on the Slack channel. Mask is not moving with the face. There, add a face tracker to it, just like I did. The first and the foremost step is to add a face tracker. Then go to the AR library, import whatever you're trying to import. If still that is not happening, then drag the face mask between the focal distance and the ambient light. And once the session is over in like a few minutes, you just go back to the video which is recorded and have a look at how I added the mask. You can use the same values that I added. It was 0.07 on x-axis, and all the same values you can add, and just have a look at the video once more. All your queries will be cleared. Any other
So
questions?
basically, if you are making yes, so basically, if you are making one effect, you take the screenshot of the effects section. It will show only one AR effect, right? You submit it as a screenshot on the dashboard. Then you can edit it. You can edit your submission of the screenshot, and you can take a new screenshot which shows you have created two effects. You can submit that screenshot in place of that. So basically, you will be submitting one screenshot, but that screenshot can show whether you have created one effect or you have created more than that.
Yeah, so I think there are a lot of complaints about the site not working. So guys, I told you that's how the internet works. The
You
site
can
is
write to the
might be down.
site's customer care. You can write it to them that that's not working, and they'll be happy to solve that out.
Yeah, and I think it's because many people are trying to do it at the same time. So it will work in a few hours. Just check it again, and don't try to open it on your phone. There's no use. The studio can't be downloaded on the phone. Try to open it on a laptop again and again. Using a face mesh 2D mask gives 3D effect. No, that won't happen. Sorry. The face mesh, if you're using and adding a 2D image, that won't automatically convert it to a 3D object. So that won't happen. Just connect with us on the Slack channel. I'll show you how it is done. Yeah, I think we've taken up almost all the queries. And Anuj, can you just drop a link to the Slack channel so that
Yeah,
if
just give me a
someone
moment.
has, yeah. And also to incubate's LinkedIn account so that they can connect with us on LinkedIn also if someone is not willing to join the Slack channel. So we are adding a link to the Slack channel. Connect with us there. Or if you want to connect with us on LinkedIn, do that as well. We'll be happy to take on your queries. So we have helped many students, and you can also share your effects with us on the Slack channel. We have seen pretty amazing effects for the past few days. We'll be really happy to see what you guys have created. Where to submit the thank you for submitting screenshot? Anuj, I think it's a question for you.
Just a moment. I'm just dropping in
Yeah,
the LinkedIn.
yeah. And as I already mentioned, we are having another workshop tomorrow at 4 p.m. on the same channel. If you want to join that, please join that as well. I'll be teaching how to, include head occluders and add rotating objects around your head. So that is something. Is it possible to have perfection just seen your star gold? Yeah, of course. I mean, this was the basic effect that I have shown you, and we have ended up, Anuj and I have ended up making a lot of cool effects on the studio that are really cool. We've invested a lot of time and mastered that art, so you can also do the same. But for getting started, let's stick to the basics and slowly. It's not like after this challenge ends you can stop using the studio. Of course, you're free to use it. Anuj has dropped in the LinkedIn accounts, both of us. So Anuj, where do we have to submit the thank you submitting screenshot?
I screen shared and showed you, right? You have to submit it on Incubate IND's
Yeah.
dashboard on the website. Submit your ID. I just showed you that. You have to submit it
Yeah.
there.
So if you're still confused, after the session ends in like 2 or 3 minutes, you can go back to the video and go back to that particular part and have a look at how it was done.
So I guess we have answered all the queries, and we can
Yeah.
wrap up the session, Tanisha.
Yeah. Which screenshot have to submit, Viraj? We are wrapping up the session. Just after we wrap up the session, go back to this video, and like 5 minutes ago, Anuj showed you how to which screenshot you have to submit and what you have to do. Even I clearly shared my screen and showed you that. Just go back, and even if it's still the problem persists, connect with us in the Slack channel. And Ria, the site will work in like a few hours. It won't happen that it stops working for like a day or two. It will work in a few hours. Just keep on trying. When will we get the certificate? Yeah, so the certificate and t-shirt will the process will begin after 20th June, that is tomorrow, because the competition and the contest ends tomorrow. So after that, we'll be sending you emails to collect your address and to collect your sizes for the t-shirts, and that's how we'll send you the certificates and rewards. Yeah, so thank you guys for joining us for this lovely session. We enjoyed it a lot, and I hope you guys got to know something about the AR studio. And after the session, some of you will be able to submit your effects successfully. Share your effects with us on the Slack channel. If you have any queries, connect with us on LinkedIn or Slack. We are available there. And thank you so much for joining us here. It was lovely to meet you all. Thank you, guys.
Thank you everyone for coming. All the best.